Speaking of red, let's talk about the possibility of a recession. Now, if the U.S. economy slips into a recession in the next year or two, would you be prepared? A new survey from Bankrate finds that 4 in 10 Americans would not be prepared. Our own Sibile Marcellus took a closer look at the survey. Here she is now. What do you make of this? And is it so surprising? I feel like we do often hear, this to me is a similar kind of story to the one of the average person isn't ready for an emergency $1,000 expense.
Yeah, so we saw retail sales came out and they were disappointing, and that's not surprising because a lot of consumers are facing a lot of pressure. When it comes to the economic forecast, it's kind of cloudy right now. We're seeing a slowdown when it comes to hiring and also a slowdown when it comes to GDP. So we have unemployment rate is 3.5%, 50-year low. Yeah, that's fantastic. But a lot of Americans are saying, you know what? I'm going to be cautious about this because that number could go back up. What can I do if there's actually a recession? So Bankrate did a study to basically find out how Americans are preparing should there be a recession. And what they found is that 4 in 10 Americans are saying, nope, not ready if there's a recession. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be caught pretty much off guard. So the good news here,
millennials the worst off.
Yeah, right. Of course, definitely. So the good news is
they're the best off. They're 74% of millennials are prepared for a recession.
Okay.
Yeah,
correct?
So they're
right. Yeah.
Oh, I read that wrong. You're right.
Let me clarify that. So when it comes to millennials, so there's a generational divide in terms of those who are preparing for a recession. Millennials, a lot of them graduated into the recession, so they have flashbacks. They remember how terrible that was and how difficult it was. So there are more millennials preparing themselves, taking active steps than other generations like Gen Z or baby boomers. So the most common step people are taking to protect themselves from a recession is, number one, cutting back on spending. Also, what they're doing is cutting back on they're actually paying down credit card debt, and they're also increasing savings when it comes to retirement and emergencies, and a small percentage are actually looking for another job so that they can make sure that they're more financially secure. So that's obviously challenging, but those are all the things that people are doing to protect themselves.
So I have to ask, Sibile, what exactly, I know we're talking about, paying down credit card debt, saving more, but really, what does recession preparedness actually look like? Does that mean, I have 6 months of my salary saved in my bank account so I can pay for my rent and my expenses while I'm searching for a job if I lose one? Exactly what we talk a lot about recession preparedness, but what does that actually mean?
Or I've taken my money out of stocks.
Right. What does it actually mean to be prepared for the recession?
So it's not one size fits all. So everybody has different needs. You may have one child, you may have 2 children, you may be alone, you may be single, but you have a very expensive apartment. So that's why we're not seeing the one number, the one stat, and this is what you need to do to protect yourself from a recession. You got to figure it out based off of your own expenses. But in general, experts say that if you have 6 months worth of income saved up, then you're in better position should there be a recession. But of course, if there's an actual recession, how long are you going to be outside of a job? So you got to kind of figure out how long that's going to take and how much you're going to need and figure it out for yourself.
And surprise, surprise, people that are not earning as much are going to be the hardest hit.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So there's a third of Americans who are not taking any steps to protect themselves from a recession. And you think those are the people who are making the most money, those who are earning $80,000 a year or more, but it's actually the reverse. So it's those who are at the lower end of the income spectrum, those who are making $30,000 and less, they're the ones who are more likely not to be doing anything at all should a recession hit.
I would think that. It's hard to prepare for a recession when you can't even pay
you don't have a lot of money.
Expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. So preparing, it helps when you have, the likelihood increases when your income goes up.
Let's just hope it doesn't happen.
Right.
Fingers crossed. Eventually,
Well, it will. It will. Just when.
Long bull run. Sibile, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.